maybe.
Hey, we're live right now. All right.
Oh, are we? Oh, God. Wasn't ready for that. This is the behind the scenes that nobody's ready for.
That happened quickly.
Let's see. Yeah, it did.
There we go. Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first, second, because I tried to the test run, but first with two people. Edition of Eat, Sleep, Podcast, Repeat. I'm Dave Taylor.
Is indeed. And
look who's back!
By the way. Hey! Yes, finally returning to Eat, Sleep, Podcast, Repeat, FM 99 of the Fox's first and only wrestling podcast. I am Sean Hood, and that is Dave Taylor.
How's it going? This is what we look like, faces for radio. So.
Unfortunately, yeah this is us. So, again, FM 99 of the Fox's first and only wrestling podcast. And in case you didn't know, other than watching us here on StreamYard, there are lots of ways to stay in touch with us and follow along with the show. First and foremost, you can find us by going to fm99.com and 1069thefox.com. Right over to the media tab. Underneath that, it says ESPR. Go ahead and give it a click. It'll take you to our most recent episode. Or you can find us on most of your major podcasting apps. Just search ESPR and then the word wrestling. It comes right up. And go ahead and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating and review. We'd greatly appreciate it. And then, of course, if you want to get in touch with us, outside of being able to, you can comment right here if you join in and we're talking. But right here at the bottom, you can see it. Follow us at Facebook and Twitter at ESPR99 and email us at ESPR@FM99.com. Right down there, you can see it going by under my finger now. So if you want to go ahead and follow us on all the different social media platforms, that is a great way to do that. And stay in touch. We always want to hear from you guys. So hopefully, we've never really done this before. This is a new thing for us. If anybody joins, we get some actual comments going. That'd be nice. We'll see. We'll see what happens in that regard. But we're going to get things going here. And we got lots to talk about this week. Dave and I haven't had a chance to talk much wrestling over the last couple of months while I've been out of work. And no, for the record, I did not have anything. I wasn't sick. It was just over an abundance of caution because I have some underlying conditions that make me high risk, so I stayed home. They made that possible for me. So Dave carried the mantle while I was gone. So thank you, Dave. Appreciate you keeping that going.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. And so I guess without further ado, we can move on into stuff. We literally just wrapped up watching Smackdown. So I guess we can jump right into our Smackdown review, as it says, right over here. It's backwards, right over here. Smackdown review. And so we can talk about the Smackdown episode. And Dave, I saw you making some things to help us kind of flow through this episode.
Yeah. It's different because of, the challenges that they have now in doing these shows because they do them in advance, and I know talent's limited. So I know one of the things was like the ongoing bit of the night was making Braun Strowman mad, which I kind of enjoyed. I don't think you liked it.
It's okay. It's not. I don't know. I didn't love it, I guess is the way to put it. I didn't think it was. It doesn't make the Universal Championship feel like an awful lot. That's kind of where I'm at. If this feels like a mid-card feud.
Well, they did kind of build up the Intercontinental title match bigger than anything, but it was Miz and Morrison being the jerks that they are, just being, idiots, if you will, and causing trouble, Well, I thought that was kind of funny.
I'm fine with them doing that and being those characters and being those guys because that's who they are. Oh, I don't want to hear ourselves. And I'm fine with them being that's who they are, and I understand that to a degree. But at the same time, I don't love the idea of them. I don't know. The goofiness just doesn't feel like main event stuff. And granted, I'm sure they won't be the main event match, but it's just, I don't know. When you're talking about the Universal Championship, it just comes across too hokey to me. That's the only way that I think about it. And while that's not going to bother everybody, it bothers me a little bit just because like Braun didn't have a great start with the championship because Goldberg was kind of it was a meh 2 minutes.
Just get out of there. Which we would have got the same match with Roman. I mean, we would have got spear.
Right, for sure. But I don't know that if this was where they were going to go with Roman afterwards. I have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, there's no way to know, unfortunately. Braun, then he had the feud with Bray, which was starting to be interesting. Yeah. And then it was the Bray match, which was okay. And then it just ended, and then we were done.
Yeah, I thought, well, he fought Bray, but we're not getting the Fiend, and
at least not yet, which was fine. I felt like it was fast to go to that because the Fiend can't lose that match.
No,
not after just having lost the title, and so I don't know. It kind of seems to be continuing a really lackluster first world title reign for Braun Strowman to me. I mean, tonight we went right back to what was the climax of this whole making him mad thing. It was him flipping another vehicle. We've seen that 100 times.
Yeah.
As impressive as flipping a vehicle is, the law of diminishing returns applies to everything, including flipping vehicles.
It has been a while. So, I mean, it kind of brings him back. I mean, it kind of takes away the goofiness that we kind of had for a while with him. But, I mean, you're saying that like it takes away his seriousness because he's flipping vehicles. He's not showing the bad guy that he is. Right. Covered in green slime or whatever that was.
Oh my God, the green slime! Jesus. Right.
I thought the other thing that was good on the show I thought Sonya's good showing. Sonya Deville.
I loved that.
She's finally being able to wrestle like without the silliness of and just more viciousness, which I love.
Oh, without a doubt. It's she's being able to be taken more seriously. She's not just Mandy's sidekick.
Yeah.
While I like Mandy Rose, I was much more interested in Sonya Deville. I think she's got a ton of upside, and I'm glad they're finally letting her kind of show it some. And her and Lacey go out there, and I think it's like a 12-minute match or something like that. And while it wasn't perfect, it was rough in a few spots. It was still good stuff. There was still, as Vince McMahon would say, it's good, man. It was, but it was entertaining. It was hard hitting, and it was aggressive. I liked it.
You brought up a good point. It was a longer match. I know they did the thing with the ref or whatever because the ref bump, but it was a longer match. When you give these ladies or the guys who are used to wrestling 3 or 4 matches on Raw or SmackDown, longer matches, it does show what they can do, and that's always been a frustrating thing. Back when give divas a chance when they'd be on for 30 seconds, you're like, well, okay, I can't take them seriously. Now you can give them a chance to be taken more seriously, which has been great. And same with Lacey Evans, who's definitely improved from last year. Definitely showed a big improvement.
Continued to improve, and I think it's just because she's been constantly in the ring with these kind of women who can help her along. I mean, she worked that program with Natty. She worked with Natty a bunch. I mean, Sonya, I think, is so much better than people give her credit for. I mean, she was working with Becky for a bit. She's working with a lot of people who are well above her, and she's learning from each one of those matchups, which I appreciate. I think Lacey's on the right path. What up, Chad? Nice to see you.
Hey, Chad. Yeah. And it helps, too, because this may be the future down the road, when the Charlottes aren't full-time anymore or, the Sashas and the Baileys. And
when do we think Charlotte isn't going to be full-time anymore?
Well, I'm just saying, like, in, 2 years or something, where I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just saying, like, if Charlotte, takes a break. Or whatever.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if her dad is any indicator, Charlotte's going to be on forever.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but I don't see. I see Charlotte being around for a while. But the thing is that if Charlotte's going to stay relevant, she's going to need new opponents, and Sonya will be one of them.
Yes,
I mean that's part of that. Lacey will be one of them. These will be the people who will be taken seriously as contenders for her. Which is good. They need to be feeding people down that pipeline to have top tier stars. They can't just keep rehashing Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bailey. I mean, it just can't stay that way, unfortunately.
Yeah. Speaking of Sasha and Bailey,
yes,
I was kind of surprised because I thought maybe they kind of were saying this is going to be the breakup tonight because it's only been the longest teased feud in forever.
How long has this been going on? How long has this teased split been happening? For 2 years or something?
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't know how they're still doing this and how I'm still giving them the opportunity to do it. I should be done and turning it off when I see them on there, but I keep watching it. And it's not even that it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. All the stuff they're doing is fine, but there's no way that the split is gonna justify this ridiculous 2-year dragging out process.
No. I think without an audience, it's weird because I think without the audience, I think it helps Bailey more. Mm-hmm. That's because I get because sometimes the matches, the reaction just isn't there because it's crowd fatigue or whatever else. It's the place of the match, and I think this is helping her out a lot. And then Sasha delivers most of the time, and it's just weird when Bayley pulled her out and whatever, and you're like, what's going on? This is going to be it. Sasha's going to come in and knock Bayley out, and lo and behold, they're freaking champions.
Freaking champions. What's funny is I was watching this and I was messaging with my friend Tina, and she was watching it as well. And she was, do you think it's going to be Bayley 2 belts? And my response was, God, I hope not. And
there you go.
She said, why? And every time I say that to her, I have to say, but of course, since I don't want that to happen, that's what will happen. And she was like, why not? And I said, because I'm so over this Sasha-Bayley split that they've been doing for so long, and I just want it to be over with, and I don't want them to drag all 3 belts into this breakup thing. But, of course, that's what's happened. Now, again, everything they're doing is fine, but having been somebody who's watched it consistently for this entire time, the payoff is just not going to be there.
They had that chance 2 years ago and I think maybe they pulled back. Maybe this was the difference when Becky did it and the crowd loved it. They said, "Well, we're going to tinker with it," but once the crowd was saying, "No, stop messing with this," they let it go. Remember, because when Bayley attacked Sasha, the crowd went nuts. This is like, "Oh, this is great. This is what we want." And then I think they pulled back on it because that was not their narrative at the time. And then, when it happened with Becky and Charlotte, 2 months later, they just let that go. And obviously that worked out well for them.
We're talking about Smackdown, by the way, for anybody who's just now tuning in. And anybody, if you're listening, feel free to throw your comments in there. Let us know what you thought of Smackdown or any of these storylines or really anything at all. But we're talking about Smackdown right now, the Women's Tag Team Championships changing hands. Sasha and Bayley, new champions. Does this just kind of go the short route of we have these champions that have this stressed relationship, and so they only have it for a week or two, and then they drop it either back to Bliss and Kross, or they drop it to some new challengers or something?
They can go to Raw now. Mm-hmm. They could defend the title on Raw. So I don't know if Asuka is tied up with Asuka's the women's champ, so you're not going to get Asuka and Kairi Sane unless they want to do Asuka 2 belts and go that way, which I wouldn't recommend. But I don't. There's anybody in Raw? I'm trying to think of a women's team that can fight.
Keep everybody away from Nia. That's my only opinion.
Yeah.
God almighty. Although I will say this, watching. It's a bad run. She's had a bad run with injuries happening and whatnot to people. And some of them, I don't know. I'm not in the business. I don't work for them. I wasn't a part of those matches, so I can't tell you definitively that they were Nia's fault. The only people who know that are Nia and her opponents.
I think Kairi Sane and Nia don't need the fight anymore.
I'm thinking that too. The common denominator in this situation seems to be one thing, though. One person. But with that whole thing with Nia and Kairi, I will say this: watching the video back, I watched it several times, and it looks like Nia goes to toss her, and it looks like Kairi just loses her footing and trips and falls forward and kind of catches herself with her face. Not the best plan.
No. The description
this one looked more like an accident than other things, but it's just unfortunate because Nia has this history now.
Yeah, because she's associated with it. Although, by all looks of it, didn't seem like that was Nia's fault. The turnbuckle powerbomb, which now they banned that move. Mm-hmm. Definitely, and maybe it's her not knowing her own strength. Kairi's very light. Probably one of the smaller women in the division.
Dave, I'm going to go ahead and tell you something as a gigantic person right now. I'm fully aware of the fact that I'm capable of hurting other people very easily, and I make extreme efforts not to. I think that we've seen the turnbuckle bomb done a million times safely, but we also saw it end a guy's career.
Sting, Finn Balor.
We still win. Finn Balor, he wins the championship and immediately has to drop it the next night because he dislocated or separated his shoulder. or something.
Because he hit the
barricade.
Yeah.
And it just we're a little off topic, but because we were talking about Nia Jax, we're like, Jesus, keep him away from Nia Jax. Over on Raw, I don't know if there's anybody really legitimate to be a challenger over there. The Iconics, maybe,
they teased that breakup, which they don't need the breakup because nobody's going to care about them solo. They work better as a team.
I love Peyton Royce, but that's not the point.
Her hair, by the way, she does not have quarantine hair. Wherever she's been going is like wow, okay.
Well, let's be honest. They show up there and somebody gets them ready before the show. So
that is true. They do have that, but tremendous job done.
We don't have that. You guys get our quarantine look. All right, this is what you get. Yeah. I wore a hat just didn't have two bald guys staring at me.
Shiny head.
So I don't know as far as challenges on Raw. Again, there's the Iconics. I'm struggling to even think of full teams over there at this point.
Unless Natty teams up with somebody,
it's possible.
Shayna's going to get back in the title picture, and where's Dana Brooks on SmackDown, right? I don't know. Maybe they go to NXT and fight somebody, which should be fine. Let them go back. Let them go back home.
Right?
That would be good.
Oh yeah, because I'm having such a blast with that in Charlotte. In any event, so that happened. So I guess anything else from SmackDown that you were talking about? You want to talk about?
Nah, I mean, Braun Corbin and
I gotta be honest, I'm still a fan. I'm a fan of Otis. I think it's fun. It's entertaining.
It's working, and I wish there was an audience for him because
I wish there was an audience for him.
It would be.
It works best. And I'll just say this, like I do about every time I watch SmackDown. Stop doing the Shorty G gimmick.
That was a good match, but
it was a good match. But stop it. Stop it. I was saying it to my girlfriend earlier when I was watching the match. I was just frustrated about the whole thing, and she was like, "What?" And I said, "His Shorty G." I was like, "They need to stop it. Short is not a personality.
No,
stop it." Like, that's all they have, and it's driving me insane because he's so good.
He is a good wrestler, and it's weird because they hyped up. You talking about speaking of hype, Mojo Rawley, like oh man, take this guy seriously, and then he eats the pin. But I thought this was the beginning of something with Mojo Rawley. Which can we transition to the news with Mojo Rawley's buddy?
I think that's a good way to do that. I think you're right. Let's slide on into the news, if you will. Gronk's delay of game. So the rumor mill has it that everybody in the WWE during his very short tenure, Rob Gronkowski managed to rub pretty much the entire locker room the wrong way because he held up the WrestleMania taping by about 2 hours because you'll remember the spot where he dove onto a bunch of people. Probably the safest thing that happened at WrestleMania because there was 40 dudes down there to catch him. Apparently, he was scared of doing that. And so Vince McMahon had to go up and do it to prove to him that it was safe. The 74-year-old Vince McMahon had to go do the stunt for the 30-something-year-old athlete to prove to him that it was safe.
I know you could do the Vince voice, but could you just imagine going, you could just get up on there and just, grab the brass ring and just dive.
Christ, man. You get up there. You see all those guys down below, and you just leap off. It's good, man. And look, Vince, I will say this. There have been numerous people who have said that Vince McMahon will not ask these guys to do something he won't do himself.
Yeah.
And even at 74 years old, that seems to be the case.
Yeah, maybe this explains why Gronk wasn't on the end of the show. Maybe that's why they brought in Titus O'Neil or whatever, because they said, enough of this. And maybe that's why, and depending on the order, if they tape these matches, I don't know if we saw the matches in order they were taped, but maybe if Brock was taped after that, Brock was probably like, I'm done with this. I waited. Let's just get this match over, Drew, and do whatever. Who knows? Or maybe after 40 minutes of the last man standing, they said, you know what, I am done with this because that was ridiculous too.
Gronk, goodbye. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's back to playing football. Have fun in Tampa.
It could have been a sillier way for him to lose the title. I know they got to protect him because he can't get hurt, obviously, because he's going back to football. And maybe that was part of his concern. But
I'm positive it was. He somewhere in the back of his mind was considering this, and he decided that he didn't want to hurt himself. And I mean, granted, nobody wants to get hurt in general.
No,
I don't think he would have been nearly as scared had this not been a possibility for him.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
As for more news, the WWE has now done away with their standard first month free for new subscribers. That's been the case for pretty much in its existence.
Yeah.
If you signed up for $9.99 a month, you would get your first month free, and no more, because now they have unveiled the free tier, and the free tier containing lots of stuff on there. The bump, I think the Monday Night Nitros, the old
old episodes,
Brawl, Smackdowns and stuff, right? You can watch those catalogs. You don't get to see everything. Like, I don't think you get like the WWE 24. I don't think you get you're not getting the Undertaker Last Ride series, which, by the way, if you haven't watched, you absolutely need to be watching it.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, I think, and this is the timing. I mean, if it happened like 2 months ago, I think it would have been great, but maybe it was them preparing everything. Okay, we got to, set everything up, because you just can't turn a switch and make it free. But I think this is great going forward, because you do get some content, and then they can sell the heck out of you. The NXT events, the Smackdown, the Raw pay-per-views. I think that's going to work out in the long run. And then they could also say, hey, we do have, 2 million subscribers. Not only maybe 1 million are paid, but we still have that other number that we're still reaching in some way with our commercials, with the pre-rolls or whatever else. So I think in the long run, it will work out. And for those of you that were, changing your email addresses and credit card infos every month to watch a pay-per-view for free, you can't do that anymore. So.
No. Again, we've been saying this from day one. I mean, it's $9.99 is a steal. You just pay the damn $9.99 and watch the network like a normal human being. I don't understand why people won't do that. Dave, did you know there's people out there who pay for pornography?
What?
There's people out there who pay for pornography, but they won't pay for their wrestling. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Okay.
Moving on from the news, we'll talk about a little other wrestling this week. The AEW recap. Dave, did you get to watch any of AEW?
I watched part of it with Jericho and Colt Cabana and stuff, and then Jericho winning with the bubbly, and then the calling out Tyson. Did I say Orange Bubbly? I mean Orange Cassidy calling out Tyson and getting Orange Cassidy to come out. It was really weird, because I know Orange Cassidy is on his way up. I mean, the interaction, because I wasn't sure what to expect, and I know they kind of teased a little bit of interaction, then Orange kind of being cool and kind of like this just disappearing into the crowd. It was very interesting. Hey, what's up with the guy? Because I'm on and off with AEW sometimes.
Okay.
Who's the guy in the scooter? Like just going back and forth. Like they're in the match.
The who's playing Jericho's music?
That guy, yeah.
That was Sammy Guevara.
Okay.
He was just injured.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Sammy Guevara. He. By the way, he should never sing anybody's entrance again ever. Like, no. I get that he was supposed to be bad on purpose, but it was so bad that it was so bad that there's that thing where they hope it comes back around to being good, like it's funny. It never got there. It was bad, and it kind of fell and died in the field of bad.
Because I'm just like, what's going on? And then he's hanging out there, and I'm like, okay, it's just strange. I know it's part of the inner circle or whatever, but it's just. Are there too many? I don't want to dwell on this too much. But are there two? Because I know the revival came 2 weeks ago, and but are there now too many ex WWE guys showing up in NXT or NXT AEW?
I think you can make a case for that because it was a big criticism of WWE. Of TNA for a long time.
Because you got the B team basically of guys.
Yeah, but I think the problem is, or the difference is that it's not like because you'd see guys showing up in Impact in TNA who were never great. You know what I mean? And I don't mean this to be. I'm not. This is not meant to be a knock. R-Truth was never a great wrestler. And I saw him as Ron Killings in Impact, and he was better, sure. But I mean, I'm not writing home about.
Oh, you mean when he was like K-Quick?
Well, I mean, he was K-Quick first.
Yeah, first, yeah.
Then he was Ron Killings in Impact or TNA, and then he came back as R-Truth. They had Road Dogg there as BG James. They had Jeff Jarrett. They had, all these guys who were WWE castoffs, but a lot of them were past their primes, and some of the other ones I mean, like they had D'Lo Brown in the beginning, and D'Lo was always really good, but he was never quite that top level, but he was for Impact. And so, like, it was kind of a dude who was already past his prime, and never. I don't know. It's weird to grab a guy who was never better than the mid card, but is already past his prime. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They have those guys.
And I mean, there's exceptions to those rules, of course. They get guys that aren't always like that. I mean, they had Jeff Hardy when Jeff Hardy was still pretty hot. I mean, granted, he had his own issues going on, but that's irrelevant. I'm just talking about like he was still in a big spot in his career.
Kurt Angle, of course.
Kurt Angle, they got him in his prime.
Yeah.
They absolutely had some people who could go for them. But then in AEW, I don't see it nearly as much like that. They're not clamoring for, they don't want Ric Flair to come in and wrestle a match for them. They don't want Jeff Jarrett to come in and wrestle a match for them. They don't want, they're not looking for any of these older guys. They're not trying to get any of the guys from the Ruthless Aggression era to come in and wrestle for them in their main event. It's a lot of guys that were either big on the indies, or who really were really talented in WWE, like the Revolution, the FTR. Excuse me. They were. I forgot the name of WWE already.
Revival.
Thank you. They were the Revival, and everybody knew they were an amazing tag team who was being underutilized. Then they show up in AEW, still in their prime. I mean, those guys are both young.
Oh yeah. They got a long ways to go. But what about like
John Moxley, who's still in his prime?
Yeah. You got him. You got Luke Harper comes in, and then right away, it gets a title match. And I know like some people are like, well, because you had two WWE guys fighting. It wasn't the main event, but you had that. I'm just wondering, is that going to be a problem if they go that direction?
They can't do it forever, which they're not. I mean, like their very next title feud now is John Moxley and Brian Cage.
Yeah, well, because TNA guy, strangely enough, but which was weird how that all transpired because I should have thought, well, the secret guy coming in is the guy that's going to win, and that ends up being him. Mm-hmm. But MJF, they've done a good job with.
Absolutely.
That is when Darby Allin finally.
Darby Allin. He kind of got this groundswell of support, and he's starting to really take off. Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy. That has really been advancing through their ranks.
And I was surprised.
The match against Cody was really good.
Yeah, the pay-per-view match they did, like he almost was it 20 minutes? I think it was MJF or who he fought. I'm trying to remember who he fought, but yeah, 20 minutes out of that is amazing. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it to be a squash, right. But I kind of figured it would. Okay, that's going to run 8 minutes or whatever. And then, but they let him wrestle.
Yeah, and it made both of them look good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key is they've got these young stars, but they have to be serious about. They have to be serious about really pushing them.
Yeah,
not just using them for we're going to kind of get a little bit of pop out of them and whatnot and then move on and move back to it can't always be John Moxley versus Chris Jericho or Brody Lee or what I mean. Don't get me wrong, I understand the point of using some of them for the shock value and the name value and whatnot in that instance.
It does draw a casual fan. I go, I wonder what they're doing. I hear John Moxley's over there. I mean, they do need a little bit of that, and I get that. I'm not going to argue
absolutely
against that in any way. So the WWE brings in the big guys, it's weird because they have the Mike Tyson rehash, but they had the Gronk thing. They get the press for it. Obviously, Gronk ticked everybody off. It seems from the stories we've heard.
Yeah, the Tyson thing was a little weird to me. It's a little too reminiscent of like that. That's probably the first thing they've done that's made me go, really, like really. And then don't get me wrong, Tyson's in amazing shape. He's gotten himself in amazing shape now.
Oh yeah. He's been sparring and all that. And it's like not gonna. I wouldn't mess with him. Ever, but
like it wouldn't be a contest.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of trouble ripping off a t-shirt.
Yeah, he did. It's that bottom strand every time. It's that bottom strand.
Every time he couldn't do it, and he tried for way too long, and it was awkward. And Mike was allowed to talk way too much. He was allowed. I'm sorry, don't let Tyson say anything. Tyson is not a talker. He's just not.
I don't. That was probably not scripted. It probably said, "Here's what we're going to do," and all right, roll the dice, see what happens.
Yeah, you're always going to. That's always iffy when you're talking about Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be involved again. I'm kind of hoping he's not, though. I just don't. I don't love that idea. As far as, other guys, I mean, again, they've got so many guys on that roster who were big indie darlings and whatnot. I mean, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, which, by the way, Kenny Omega and Adam Page back on the same page, and they beat Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc in a tag team title match.
Yeah, not the guys. Is it Best Friends are fighting, right? Coming up?
They're coming up, yeah. Best Friends.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they won the match. I'm still not complete. I know Kenny Omega, a lot of love. Everybody has. I'm still not 100% sold on him. I don't know if it's just, if he's holding back or if it's just the direction they're taking him. Or
I don't know if you watched it or not. If you haven't, you should go back and find it. More recently, he had a match. I think, let me see if I can figure out which show it was on. It was Kenny Omega and oh God, I'm spacing on his name. It was Kenny Omega and Pac. I'm sorry, Pac.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I think it was a couple of shows ago.
It was. But either way, go back and find it and watch it. That was a fantastic match.
Okay.
Kenny Omega is amazing. I'm not sure what they're doing with the guy. He really hasn't had a chance to just go. I don't know why that is. He's had a couple of singles matches where he's had a little opportunity to work, through.
Yeah.
But, he had his match against Jon Moxley, and it was a hardcore match.
Yeah, it was not his style, and then it just...
And I'm not saying he can't do that style. It's just not what he's known for.
Yeah.
Moxley's known for that.
Yeah, that's his cup of tea. I mean, that was just, a bit much. I thought, this is what they're doing with, Omega, and it's like, let him be the wrestler's wrestler. Let him have those big matches where, some of the Jericho stuff I thought was great. I mean, I know we talked about in the past, and more of like that style. Although not 40 false finishes and 20 chair shots or
you get a lot of that in AEW. It's just a different brand.
I know.
It's more indie, and it drives me nuts sometimes. But it's
because watching Private Party and Best Friends, and it's like, really, like that match should have ended there, or that match should have ended there, and then
that's how it is with them. You're gonna get those million false finishes and whatnot. And if I have one gripe about AEW, and it's a bummer because I like all three guys on commentary. I like JR, obviously. I like Giovanni. I like Excalibur. I think they're all good announcers. But I think sometimes they get too cute. They're making jokes. They're laughing with each other at moments where I'm like, I would really like you to be selling me on what's happening.
Well, on the pre-show, because it was Excalibur, and I don't know who was with them, but I was
they was pretty random, yeah.
But it was not, and what you just said was kind of like how I was feeling. It's like, man, you were not selling me on the show. I know that it was Excalibur, but it was somebody.
Way too much on the pre-show stuff.
Yeah.
But even during the main shows, I mean, you'll get these guys, they'll make some kind of inside joke with each other. And, I'll get it sometimes I won't. And then other times I'm just like, what does this have to do with what I'm watching? Nothing. Why? You're supposed to be telling me the story here, not telling me another story that has nothing to do with this story. I don't want them to have somebody yelling in their ears like it happened in WWE, but at the same time, I feel like somebody needs to kind of help keep them on track sometimes.
Give them a little direction. Well, I do like. I mean, Jim and Tony. I mean, obviously, they're pros, and they got stories. They can tell. I mean, just all the stuff because they both go back to the Crockett days, and then obviously the Tony's brief stint WWE, then going back when Jim was in WWE, then he's there for the whole NWO days and everything. I mean, they got some stories to tell.
Oh, without a doubt, and I do enjoy that a great deal. Sometimes I feel like it's not the right time. When they choose to do that, I really feel like you could do a separate with just the two of them, or with Excalibur kind of mediating. You could do a separate, maybe a YouTube show or something like that, and call it something like From the Booth or something like that, and have them telling stories with Excalibur asking questions, and you know what I mean, so you can actually get into these stories and not in the middle of a match. You know what I mean?
Can we lose the alien? By the way, side note. Is it Statlander?
Yeah, I like her, but the gimmick's not working for me.
No, it's not.
It's very indie, and I don't mean that as a knock necessarily, because indie is a whole other world. Different stuff works. It's not working for me on national television, where this is just not an established thing. It doesn't. It's not landing with me. But that's just me. I don't know. There could be people who are listening to us right now or later on who would be going, what the hell is wrong with you guys? It's the best. and maybe we're completely out of touch. I don't know.
We could be. All
So,
right.
anyways,
Well,
AEW, they've got another show coming up, Fyter Fest. Looking forward to that one. I mean, at the very least, I'm really interested. I'm interested in Moxley versus Cage. I really am. It's a matchup I never put together just from thinking, but I'm interested to see what happens. And I'm also very intrigued because I got to be honest, Cage is like a huge jacked dude.
Yeah, he is.
But if you notice when you see them standing next to each other, Moxley's bigger than him. He's not more muscular, but he's bigger than him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's interesting to me. Like the visual kind of gets lost there because I'm used to Cage I'm used to Cage making people look like diminutive in stature. You know what I mean? I'm used to him shrinking everybody. And I get it because he's usually facing people that aren't his size. But, I think this kind of exemplifies that WWE is the land of the giants because Dean did not look big in WWE.
No, well, especially with Roman Reigns being the big dog and then Seth being tall and everything. Right. It just he didn't look, Dean was kind of like this guy.
He's around people like Kane and The Undertaker and he debuted Ryback and you know what I mean? It's like, it's just there's these gigantic dudes that, Dean looked like a very average dude in WWE, but walking around AEW, he looks like a monster next to some of these guys.
It's kind of weird because a couple of years when he won he won the Money in the Bank and he won the championship. Obviously I completely hated the silliness that they did with the whole getting the shots and the gas mask and everything. Mm-hmm. Just what they missed with that guy. And the audience loved him, but they just like that to me. Like if you a list of like 5 guys, he'd be in that top 5 of completely dropping the ball. Now maybe some of that was a little bit of him because he did have that one podcast with Steve Austin that was, I don't think did him favors, but
yeah, not great.
And then they had James Ellsworth thing going on, but
oh my god, that was so bad.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So in any event, I think we'll move on from AEW now. And now it's time for us to do our preview of NXT Takeover in Your House. Yes, In Your House is making a comeback. And
they're not giving away a house, though. That would be really cool if they went back to that. Called somebody up. Hey, you want a house?
What's funny is somebody messaged me the other day, and they were like, "Dude, how cool is it that In Your House is coming back?" And my immediate thought was, is it cool? Like it's really, I don't know. It's not, how do I explain this? Like when War Games was coming back, that was cool because War Games is they named the show War Games because there's a War Games match on the show. In Your House is just, it might as well be called NXT Takeover wherever they are, It's
what the old NXT or In Your House events were when they were in the 90s, they were like second tier pay-per-views. They were cheaper than the major pay-per-views.
Yeah, I remember.
And they were shorter, they were like a 2-hour show. So you still, you got like a 5 matches or whatever.
Running as many shows back then as you are now.
Yeah, but it allowed them to do a something between between King of the Ring and WrestleMania or whatever, or between King of the Ring and SummerSlam. And it's weird because when any of those In Your Houses ever took place, no world championship ever changed hands in I think 14 or 15 of those shows. Other title changes happened, but.
Yeah.
Usually it was, the guy was in the tag match or the champion won, or there was like a DQ or some kind of, finish that was a little iffy or whatever. Because they felt like they could do that in Your House and have a DQ finish as opposed to.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Survivor Series where it's like, what? You can't do that in the pay-per-view and have a count out? It's bull.
Please keep your good NXT booking going and don't start doing that. So we'll go ahead and start getting into some of these matches here on the card. And we'll start with Finn Bálor versus Damian Priest, which has been kind of a surprise for me that one's where they were going.
I can see that.
I can't lay my finger on whether he's a good guy or a bad guy or an in-between or he's just facing everybody or what. He's still not necessarily being a good guy, but I wouldn't call Damian Priest a good guy.
Damian comes off as a heel, and Finn right now is doing Finn stuff, I guess. He's there.
He is there.
It is weird because you want to take I'm not saying I can't take him serious anymore, but it seems that something is missing. He came there, he turned heel, and it was like, okay, what do we do now? And I still feel like we're in the what do we do now phase. They haven't figured that out yet.
I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of what Finn has been doing since he came back to NXT, because I feel like he has an edge again, and he doesn't need the demon to have that edge, which is nice. I enjoyed him coming in, having his first match, that match with Riddle when it was supposed to be against Gargano, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And then Gargano, the match was good. And then he had that other one against Ilya Dragunov, which was also good.
The quality of the matches are great, but I'm just trying to figure out the overall booking of this. Because, he's darker, but it's like waiting.
I do think he needs a bit of an objective. Other than just, I don't watch the business watches me. That's a cool line, but what does it mean? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Right near the beginning, he was kind of mixed up in the world title thing, and then that went away. So talking about NXT Takeover here. If you guys want to chime in, feel free to throw some comments up there and let us know what your thoughts are. But Finn Bálor versus Damian Priest. It's hard to pick. Balor's kind of on a win streak, but at the same time, I feel like Damian Priest really kind of needs a win. He needs a substantial win, because he's really just come up on the losing end of this stuff with Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic. You know what I mean?
Well, the big couple of matches with the turn and win the title from Keith Lee, right? Is that the last one? The last, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
He needs the win. I don't think it hurts Finn either way if he wins or loses at this point. Finn's one of those, I think, in a spot where it doesn't matter. So I think Damian needs to win here. Maybe it's cheap. I don't know.
Yeah. So in any event, I'll go with Damian Priest on that one as well. Up next, we got Tommaso Ciampa versus Karrion Kross, and I would like to say, Dave, by the way, I appreciate you calling him Karrion Kross here, because in the email you sent me, you called him Darian. And I was like, that's not his name. We'll see if that's right later.
I don't want to play autocorrect, because that was typing, but maybe I was. I didn't notice it. Probably not.
It's right now. Karrion Kross has got to win this. There's no way he doesn't.
Does Scarlett help him out here?
No, there's no reason.
Because that she to me is like is the star in the making here. But I think it works for him having her so much more than just him and his own. And Tommaso doesn't have anybody right now. Let her be a distraction in some way, and and Karrion can get that victory. I
don't even think he needs her to be a distraction. Maybe somehow when they're in the middle of the entrances or something like that. And to be perfectly honest with you, everybody's expecting like a 5-star match out of this. And I don't think you get that. I think Karrion's going to do something like jump Tommaso while he's coming out. I think he's going to jump him before the bell. I think he's just going to slaughter him. I think it's going to be a quick brutalization of Tommaso, and it's either going to be Karrion Kross wins decisively quickly because of that, or it's going to be maybe Tommaso wins by DQ because Karrion just won't stop assaulting him, and they just throw it out. You know what I mean?
They're going to be that, because this can continue on. It's weird, because I think if everything wasn't going on right now, like with some of these guys still, I know they sent Matt Riddle up, I shouldn't say up, but over to SmackDown. But at some point, like I know Tommaso was briefly there, and it's like, well, he's got to come back, or maybe they just want to make sure he's healthy before they give him the full push. But his window's got to be only so big at this point,
right?
I think Karrion either wins or
somehow Karrion comes out of this demolishing Ciampa.
Yeah.
Somehow. So we'll see how that prospect goes. But I'm just for the default, I'm just going to pick Karrion Kross winning.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we're on the same for 2 matches here.
Right. Up next, the 6-woman tag team match: Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox versus Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel González. I got to be honest with you. The only one here that really I feel like Candice LeRae's team needs the win more than the other team.
Yes. Because the heel turns, the stories they've been doing with Candice.
Tegan is a lovable, plucky babyface who never stops fighting, so I think she can bounce back. She's kind of like Candice LeRae was before Candice LeRae turned heel, in the sense that she can lose more than she wins, and people are still going to get behind her because she's likable. Shotzi Blackheart is entertaining, but again, I kind of feel like she's one of those ones who brushes off a loss and comes back because people have really connected to her. And Mia, I feel like, is solid where she is. She's not going up or down at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Tegan, like, I never feel like she's got her comeuppance on
Dakota guy. I don't either.
Yeah. Ever since it is maybe the booking of the Rumble or whatever, but it just never felt like. And I know they had the one match, which was pretty brutal, by the way, for a women's match. I thought, but it's like, we need more of this. Like I mean, I know they got the 6-man and 6-woman match, so maybe there'll be more of a what I love to see is like the days when there's those hot feuds where, say like Dakota's in the ring and Tegan gets tagged in and Dakota like tags out, like just like, hey, just to kind of keep that anticipation of that continuing again. So, but I got to go with the heels on this one. I love to see, maybe unless Tegan somehow gets like a victory, maybe rolls up Dakota Kai, but with Candice LeRae doing what she's doing right now, that team needs a win.
Yeah, I think the heels get the win here, especially Raquel González. They've been building her up strong with squash matches as a big monster heel for the women's division, and her and Dakota have been an effective pairing. I just don't think I don't think they lose at In Your House.
Yeah.
So up next, it's time for the NXT North American Championship match between Bask in His Glory, Dave. Bask, Keith Lee, and Johnny Gargano. I
do not like New Johnny.
See, I like New Johnny. I know you don't like New Johnny. I like New Johnny.
I like the new Candice. I like that. I think if she did more of the talking for him and let him, he could be. I'm not. Maybe they need to tune it up a little bit, but I'm not feeling the new Johnny Gargano right now. I love Keith Lee, and he's my pick in this match. I think he's going to retain. But.
Yeah, I don't think Johnny gets the win here. I think, or I should say, Johnny doesn't get the title here. I think Keith Lee retains in this match. I don't think this is the time for him to drop it. I feel like you can drag this out a little bit further if you want to take the title off of Keith, but I just don't feel like this is the match where he drops it yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel big enough yet. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And here's the thing with Johnny's character. I mean, he could lose and he can come back.
Oh, and have a million excuses for why he lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The sun was in my eye. There was a dog barking. I couldn't, my back hurt. I slept on the wrong side of the bed. He could have a million excuses.
Which is a Johnny I thought we never would get because to me he was like Mr. Wrestling and now he's like Mr. Whiny or whatever. But
yeah, good hair. Up next, the triple threat women's match for the NXT Women's Championship. Unfortunately, I'm saying this: the champion Charlotte Flair defends Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. And I'll be honest with you, Charlotte's not losing.
Nope, she's not. No, Shirai probably eats the pin, and then Rhea and Charlotte have a stare down. It's like, no, if this was 1-on-1, I could have beat you, and
I think that's the rematch where it goes. Yeah, Io is supposedly getting called up soon too.
Great.
The rumor is that Io Shirai and I think Adam Cole was slated to come up soon too as well. So we'll see if that ends up happening because actually, believe it or not, his contract is up in August and he hasn't signed a new one. So I can't imagine him not signing a new one though. He's had a really good couple of years with them.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's on top right now, unless he thinks that, his girlfriend, or is that his wife, Britt Baker? Is that his wife or girlfriend?
I think it's girlfriend.
Is, saying, hey, come work with me. Cody can get you a truckload of money or something.
I wouldn't enjoy that because right now
he wouldn't be able to come back for a while. If it didn't work out in AEW.
My problem is that AEW already has a bloated roster.
Yeah.
I saw a number the other day that kind of astounded me, and I wonder if it's true. I would have to verify it. And it was like of everybody they have on the roster. So not everybody you're seeing on TV and this, that, and the other thing, but everybody they have on the roster. And supposedly that number was like 83 people. And I'm like, that's a lot of freaking people.
For one show, not counting the dark show that they do.
1 2-hour show a week. Yeah. And I mean, you get dark, but it's so we'll say you get 3 hours a week. I mean, but 3 hours a week isn't a lot of time for like 25 superstar or wrestlers, let alone a roster as swollen as 80 something. Now, maybe that's not true, but just judging from some of the things I've been reading about signings and whatnot, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a big number.
Yeah.
And I'd be worried that a guy like Adam Cole would get over there and kind of get lost. And not to be a jerk, but I see enough kicks in WWE, super kicks in WWE. I'm drowning in super kicks over on AEW, and I like AEW, but that's just one of the things that drives me nuts. Everybody does super kicks, and
super kicks and suicide dives.
Adam Cole would be lost in super kicks over there. Like,
he would be, yeah.
He just. I don't think he stands out. I don't think he stands out over there. See, this is the thing. In AEW, these indie guys, to me, they have a hard time standing apart from each other because there's a very similar style. For several of them, there's a similar look. In WWE, these guys who were indie darlings stand out from the WWE system-oriented people. And so I feel like they have a more unique position in WWE, and it allows them to stand out and get attention because they're not like everybody who was brought up in that system.
I wonder, like, is it – I mean, I'd say, like, the coaching or whatever. I mean, you know, like when you had Dusty Rhodes, you know, in NXT years ago, taking these guys that were coming in, the Kevin Steens of the world and you know, what who Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose were, and taking these guys and molding them in that, and the lady wrestlers and everything. I mean, I know, like Arn is there, Dean Malenko is there. Those guys, to me, are like the wrestling guys. If you want to learn to wrestle, like, you know, they'll show you 1,004 holds and everything else. I don't. Is there somebody that is there?
By the way,
huh?
Did you say Arn?
Yeah, Arn.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like,
yeah. Arn Anderson.
It cut out on my end real quick. So
okay. But yeah, but those guys are there and they can teach you how to wrestle. But I don't know if there's a guy there, you know, that is taking you, like, you know, the promo score. This are, you know, someone that, like, you know, in NXT going, well, you're going to be Noah Jose. Oh, you get to be Andrade. You know,
maybe there is. I don't know. I have no idea. But I feel like Adam Cole stands out in WWE because he's so much different than a lot of the other guys. He's not the biggest guy there, but he has a different style. And again, a lot of these guys, these indie guys, have gone around the world and picked up styles from different places, and so that allows them to wrestle differently. Whereas, I mean, to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of guys in WWE we see that you can absolutely 100% tell they have never wrestled outside of the U.S. or outside of a U.S.-based promotion, I should say.
Yeah.
Because you can just look at it and you know, it's obvious.
Well, that's why usually when a lot of guys came in, they would go to NXT because, you know, it's like, okay, you need to learn our style of how we do this. Yeah. You know, I think the only exception was AJ Styles. Right,
who just bypassed. I mean, you couldn't have put AJ in there.
Yeah.
I think guys like Adam Cole have, excuse me, I'm yawning. It's like have absolutely benefited from going through that program because while he's still maintained to have that indie style and style that he's known for, he's managed to also learn to work it into a WWE program.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. This is a long way for me to go to say that I think that Charlotte's gonna win. I don't know.
Charlotte beats Shirai, and then it sets up. Rhea can get her title back down the road.
We were talking about Io going up to the main roster. That's how get here.
I'm usually the one that goes off on tangents. That was you.
That was me. It was all me. I haven't been here for 2 months. Leave me alone. I had things to talk about.
You got a lot of talking to do. A lot of talking to myself if I didn't have Aaron or HR in the show. So.
Yeah. So, anyways. I think that Charlotte gets the win. She probably pins Io. Same thing like you said. Yeah. Rhea like that. You know, you didn't beat me. Yada yada yada. Or maybe Rhea beats Io and gets the title back, and Charlotte's like, you didn't pin me. I beat you at WrestleMania. You didn't beat me. You know
There's a possibility of that too.
That's a more interesting story to me.
Because I think you just said that because Charlotte's like, well, you never beat me.
Yeah, because if it goes with Charlotte winning and Rhea, like say Charlotte pins Rhea or beats Io, excuse me, what's Rhea's excuse? I mean, like, if it had been one-on-one, you would have lost. We saw this already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at least if Rhea picks up the win, Charlotte can play you can't beat me. That's why you were lucky that Io was in that match. To me, that's a more interesting story for them to tell.
It does, and it also protects Charlotte because they like to protect Charlotte.
And then Rhea can climb that mountain and beat Charlotte next time. That to me, that's the story to tell. But again, I don't know. I'm almost convincing myself that Rhea wins now.
Either Charlotte retains or Rhea beats. Shirai's getting pinned.
Shirai's getting pinned no matter what.
I'm sorry, we love you, but that's not in the cards in this match.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Rhea's going to win.
You're probably right, but I'm still going to go with Charlotte.
No, you know what? I think you're probably right. So,
what the last 2 months have told us, it's the Charlotte Flair show.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We don't like it.
You're not wrong.
So, there's one match left.
There is one match left. So, give me one moment, please. And now, for the main event of the evening. I haven't done that in so long. The last chance backlot brawl for the NXT Championship. Adam Cole defending against the Velveteen Dream. If Dream loses, he can no longer challenge for the NXT Championship while Adam Cole remains champion.
So I love those stipulations because sometimes they say they can never challenge again. Like Cody could have had that, and as long as so and so's champion, you can't have that match or this reign. Not like ever, because it'd be interesting if Cole wins the title back in 6 months and Dream can't do it. Dream is due. It's one of the great gimmicks. Obviously Cole is fantastic, and it doesn't hurt him to lose the title. How long has his reign been? Man, he's had the title. I got to look this up when he won the title, but
it's over a year. He celebrated a year not that long ago.
He won it June 1st last year, so just over
literally a year and 4 days.
Yeah.
So I think he celebrated the year just the other day on the program. He was celebrating the year celebration. So in any event, this one's hard to tell because again, I've heard rumors about both guys being called up soon. And then again, if Cole's not signing a new contract, what do you do? Do you leave the title on him until the end? Do you take it off of him and put it on Dream? But then if Dream gets called up, you got to put it on somebody else relatively soon after. Maybe the plan is Dream takes it off of him, and he doesn't have it long before somebody like Karrion Kross takes it from him.
Wow. I don't know if Kross is there yet, but maybe Dream.
Well, not yet necessarily, but Dream could hold it for 2 or 3 months and then drop it. It wouldn't be shocking. They've had guys come in and do that before. Come in and win the title really quickly. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, didn't
Joe? Was it Samoa Joe or was it?
I feel like Joe won it relatively quickly. I feel like Kevin Steen won it relatively quickly. Kevin Owens, excuse me.
But that was like in the early days though, because he had the big feud. But like when Drew came back,
but still, it's not unprecedented. Is my point. I feel like Bobby Roode did it as well. He
was there a long time, and he had the 2 reigns, or was it Shinsuke? Who had the 2 NXT reigns?
That's a good question. Who did have the 2 NXT reigns? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Dream wins this one. I'm fine either way. But the man has been, top 5 star in NXT, and it seems like there's a lot in NXT. This is going on, so give him that shot for a while, see what happens, and I think they can kind of roll the dice on some things here. Without audiences and stuff, certain guys winning. It's like, hey, let's see what Apollo Crews can do. We're getting
without a doubt.
title
Without a doubt.
This would be a good time for Jinder Mahal to win a championship.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
But there's certain guys, I think you can, are those certain things that need to speed up, like the guy Sharon Bailey, Sasha thing, and we get that over with. But I think this is where you go with Dream, and you go, we're going to make this happen because Cole, can get a rematch, or he can just show up on SmackDown or Raw or whatever. I'd love to see him fight Seth Rollins on Raw. I think Rollins needs somebody to get the fight where it's not the same style of match or whatever. His match with Owens was good. He needs something different under this Messiah thing. He's more Brody Lee than Brody Lee's Brody Lee.
I dig the Messiah thing. I'm really into this. this character he's doing right now, and I really like the team of him and Austin Theory and Buddy Murphy.
I'm happy for Austin Theory, by the way. There's a guy, kind of like Angel Garza, that just said, "Hey, you need to do this," and man, did he step up? Because at first I kind of got worried when they threw him to the side, when they kind of beat up Theory, and like I thought, "Oh crap, here we go. This is it's not going to work out for him." But now he's part of this, so he keeps his full name.
And I'm still wondering if, because clearly we're going the direction of Rey Mysterio and his son versus Seth Rollins, and it'll probably be like Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, and Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins, Murphy, and Austin Theory. And I'm halfway thinking that it ends up being Dominic screws his dad and joins Rollins' group.
I could see that happen. Well, I kind of figured we would get that turn when they both fought like Brock or whatever.
Right. I didn't think it would happen with Brock simply because that kid did take an ass from Brock.
He did.
So I was like, I mean, that was scary, to be perfectly honest. Like, you and I both know that it's a show, but even I'm watching it going, oh no, leave that poor kid alone.
Yeah.
But so in any event, I'm with you. It would be nice to see some of these guys move up and give Seth Rollins and some of these other guys different opponents. But I'm with you as well. I think it's Dream's time. He's been down there so long, working so hard, and I think he deserves at least one run with the belt before they do anything else with him.
Yeah.
Even if it's a short run, even if, again, he has it for just a very brief time and then he drops it to somebody like Karrion Kross. Like, to be perfectly honest, there was talk of Karrion Kross going straight to the main roster. So it wasn't a given he was going to NXT because they felt like he was TV ready. So I could see them putting the title on him quickly. And especially if he comes through this and destroys Tommaso Ciampa, he's proved that he's in the upper echelon at that point of NXT talent because, I mean, we all know where Tommaso ranks and all that.
Yeah, because that's a guy that can go after Dream. Or even at some point, like if it's not Cole, where like, Roderick Strong or somebody is another guy that you're just
that's a guy you can always rely on.
Yeah.
To go out there and have a good match.
Yeah.
No matter who he's in the ring with.
Yeah. A complete tangent, because you mentioned, certain guys going to the shows. The stupidest rule since the wild card rule is you get to go on Raw if you're on the Smackdown roster 4 times in a year. Like really? Like, because who's keeping track? Like, okay, Charlotte was on SmackDown like 2 weeks ago. So, and then,
but she's NXT champion, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Well, and technically, I think it's what it is. I don't think she's a member of the NXT roster. I think she's still a member of.
She's on Raw.
Yeah, Raw or whatever it is. But since she's on the NXT shows, and it's like, dude, I don't know. Nobody keeps track. Nobody cares. It's stupid. Can we stop pretending like the brands matter?
Yeah. Can we just say, hey, during this time frame, because of everything going on, we are allowing, limited members to cross over. However, it's still, if it's a SmackDown show, it's a SmackDown show. But a Raw guy might show up and be a pain in the butt for somebody.
I would much rather this coming year, when we get to the Survivor Series stuff and we're trying to do this again, I don't want triple threats and this, that, and the other thing. Just make it main roster versus NXT. So like, make it, instead of a traditional 5-on-5, make it a 6-on-6.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know what I mean? Give me 3 guys from SmackDown, 3 guys from Raw against 6 guys from NXT.
With a match that means something other than
the
brand wins.
Again, you and I spitballed this last year and the year before, and it's like we came up with several ideas, which I think one of the best ones being like we were talking about like extra spots in the Rumble or guaranteed spots in the Rumble. And it's like I think that's a great thing to make them fight for. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they would try their damnedest for that.
Yeah, because then the losing team could be like, well, now you got to really earn your spot into it, and you got to have these, play-in matches or whatever. But these guys get, 15 to 30 or whatever, And maybe they couldn't think that far ahead because maybe at the time, they would have booked themselves into the corner with the whole Brock Lesnar thing because you had to save all the good guys at the end anyway.
Yeah.
So
that is what it is, but.
Or at least it's the winning survivor, not the whole team gets that benefit. So that way, it's not all 6 guys, but if one guy with Keith Lee wins.
See, for me, I wouldn't just do it that way. I would do it so that your show gets that benefit, and then the show can determine later how that works. Whether it be like, say you get like an extra 5 spots in the Rumble, you know what I mean? Like, so instead of like 10, 10, and 10, it's like you can get, I don't know, one brand gets 8, one brand gets 7, the other brand gets 15. You know what I mean? Or, something along those lines. And it can be used to do something like where, so there's 5 extra spots in the Rumble, and it can be divvied up. Like if they just want to be randomly selected, they can have their own tournament to determine who's going to be in the Rumble. Do whatever you want, however you want to decide those spots. But I feel like if you make it point-based throughout the night like they like to do, then it gives you a reason to care who gets points.
Yeah, because it's like, all right, NXT wins, and or the one year where they completely screwed up when SmackDown won the pre-show, but they didn't count that towards the total because the producers told the producers of that match what the plan was for the night.
That was so stupid. But in any event,
there you go.
That is that. We covered a lot of ground tonight just because we haven't covered a lot of ground in a long time. So we kind of needed to catch up and do a little BS and get through this, but we did. We got through it. That is our preview for NXT Takeover in Your House, which is on tomorrow night. As a matter of fact, it'll be wrapping up.
Is it Sunday night?
I'm sorry, Sunday night. I'm thinking it's
it's a Sunday night NXT event because you don't have to deal with the WWE event.
Go back to Sunday. Night. Go back to Saturday nights. I like that better
because you can watch it.
Yeah. But in any event, so Sunday night, so 2 nights from now, it'll be wrapping up, and we will that during that week give you a review of that, and we'll discuss more stuff coming up. But I mean, I'm really looking forward to the show. I think it's a good card, top to bottom, and I think I'm really excited for it. So it's going to be fun, and it's nice to be able to talk about all this stuff again because I've been driving my girlfriend insane for 2 months.
And we got Backlash coming up next weekend.
So yes. So, all right. Well, that's it for the show this week. Thank you for watching / listening.
Thanks everybody out there. Appreciate it. And nice to have you back. It was.
Thank you.
It was. It's weird reviewing a show by yourself sometimes. So.
Yes, it is. Yes. Just remember, you can find us on all your major podcasting apps. Just search ESPR and wrestling. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. We greatly appreciate it. And as always, go ahead and follow us right down here. Got that information scrolling along the bottom. Follow us at Facebook and Twitter at ESPR99. Email us at ESPR@FM99.com. That's how we want to keep in touch with you guys. And until next week, just remember, watch NXT TakeOver in your house because we're going to be talking about it. And don't forget to eat, sleep, podcast, and
repeat. Thanks, everybody.
Meh.